So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our second part of invisible effects of planets, on a zodiac sign. Because a lot of you wanted to know each ascendant and how things will manifest. So I will cover all ascendant in this video. And yes, these are called war wounds, and these are called teaching nakshatras. I've already said this when I first started my very first course of Vedic Astrology Simplified on my academy, Maga Vedic Astrology Academy, where whenever I have taught nakshatras and I found out that what happens is I start taking on certain karmas of the student and I'm the one pay them off for them. And nakshatras become active. So obviously, I'm about to do Jyeshtha Nakshatra, and I was working on the worksheet today, this morning, when this happened. This is a war wound. That's all I will say. But yeah, this is why, if I was to go even into padhas of each nakshatra, well, this padha is going to be doing this padha, I'm going to get more and more and more. And this is why I haven't done that. I'll probably do that much later in a way where I'm just going to do it in like one day. But yeah, I am pretty much, if those of you who are students on my academy courses, took on certain people's karma, paying that off for them. Perhaps I'm paying my own karma off as well. So that's good. Now, anything that happens to me, I'm like glad. I'm like, oh, perfect. One more karma written off from my book. So yeah. So anyway, guys, let's start with this second part of the video. So let's start out with Aries ascendant. So when you're an Aries ascendant, what I said in the very first part is that a zodiac sign, when a planet is there, or if your ascendant is a certain zodiac sign, it'll automatically give certain results with or without planets ever aspecting it physically in the chart. Because there's always this invisible rays of planets always there permanently. So if you look for Aries ascendant, the way you look at this is you make that sign or zodiac sign the ascendant. Just make that the ascendant and start seeing which planet by aspect can influence that particular zodiac sign. And this particular zodiac sign will have energy of those planets, including the planet that rules it, obviously. So the zodiac sign of Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is about cuts, burns, bruises. It's about the fiery, fighting nature, protective nature. It's about logic. It's about, statistics. So that's the energy of Aries. Then if you look at Aries as the ascendant, Jupiter and Venus influence Aries. So that was that was the naughty daughter. So when you make Aries the ascendant, Venus and Jupiter will aspect the zodiac sign of Aries. So Aries will have influence of Datyaguru and Devaguru. It's a mix of these. And this is why you will see, first of all, that more than Libra, it is the Aries zodiac sign that longs for unionship, longs for devotion to the other person, and longs for other people. They want to work for other people. They want to do things for other people. Okay? So that's the first thing we see here. The second thing we see, Jupiter from the 9th house aspects Aries, which means person is heavily influenced. Forget the religion part. Yes, religion could be there, but it's their belief system. An Aries zodiac sign, when they have a strong belief into something, nothing can change it. Nothing can change it except their own acceptance of that new thing. So if let's say an Aries person thinks that all the rich people deserve to be rich and all the poor people deserve to be poor. That's one of the Aries beliefs. I'm not saying they are, I'm just saying any individual who may believe this. Then some saint or some spiritual person comes and says, no, look, this is how the world is. This is what this is. And if they're not able to penetrate through with an Aries individual, that this is also another way of looking at it and to have more compassion, they will not change. An Aries person has to somehow within go deep and be like, oh yes, oh yeah, this needs to be changed. So then they will change that particular thing. Otherwise, you can keep talking, keep giving them philosophy, keep giving them evidence. They will not care for it. So that's one thing. Similarly, if you look at Taurus ascendant, for Taurus ascendant, if you only look, Venus and Mars are the only one that influence the sign of Taurus, because Mars is directly opposite to Taurus. So you will see when it comes to Taurus ascendant, passion, affairs, lust runs very heavy. Sorry, COVID-19 effect. Kids are home all day. And I always have to keep pausing, then telling them not to scream, then pausing, then telling them not to scream. So like I was saying with the Taurus ascendant people, passion and lust runs number one. Affairs will run. There will always be somehow, some way, a scenario of affair that will occur. Maybe it will not go all the way. Maybe you're at, let's say, your work conference party. Somebody tries to kind of seduce you and you're married. But you will reject that. And it's not like somebody just hitting on you in some club. I'm talking about like somebody pursuing you. And Taurus becomes very adamant about luxury. They want to have luxury. They want to transform their life through material goods. And most definitely an Aries person deals with major transformations in their relationship. Now, this is regardless of marriage and all that. Could be anything. So let's say if Taurus is in the 4th house, there will be a major transformation in a relationship with you and your mother. There will be a transformation that will take place. It can go good to bad or bad to good. You look at Gemini, as I was explaining in my last example. Mars and Jupiter aspects the sign of Gemini, which means they will deal with a lot of cuts, burns, bruises, okay, because of the 8th aspect of Mars. Always on hands. And with Jupiter looking at Mercury, one becomes extremely philosophical. One becomes, again, very strong in their belief system. And Mercury, what it does, it wants to spread what they believe. So when they believe in something, they want to spread that to everyone. Aries person don't care to spread. They're like, this is what I believe. This is what I'm fighting for. This is what I'm doing. Where Gemini is like, wow, this is a great belief system. I think other people need to know this. And also with Jupiter, looking at it from, Sagittarius signs from the 7th house, they tend to learn always after marriage. They tend to get wisdom after marriage. Suddenly, through marriage, they become mature. So if before they were quite immature about their belief system and what they were telling other people, after marriage, suddenly they're like, no, this is the right thing. This is what I'm going to do right. But the thing is, they become very aggressive with pursuing their goals because of that Mars's aspect. And if you look, Mars rules the 11th house of Aries with Gemini ascendant, which means for them, gains. They want to always focus on how they can make money. That's where that focus is, and especially through information. And obviously, publishing comes into play. Actually, both with Aries and Gemini, you will see, some point they will always think about, I want to publish a book. You look at Cancer. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars aspect the ascendant. That means they face a lot of struggles early in life with relationship and marriage. And Saturn gives relationships, marriage stability by delay. After 36th or in one's 30th, 30s. Mars gives high status because it's the 10th lord looking at. Invisible effect of Mars is there, looking at Cancer from the 10th house. So once through their fighting ability and aggressiveness towards success attains the high status. And from the Pisces sign of Jupiter's aspect, they become very spiritual, not religious. The Cancer ascendant person or Cancer zodiac sign, when a planet is in, it could be near 6th house, 7th house, 8th house. Those particular themes will have a very mystical, very spiritual, and a universal way of looking at things. And because of the impact of Jupiter and Saturn together, Cancer becomes very political, meaning they know how to win the hearts of people. That's their natural ability. So if let's say you have Aries or Cancer in the 9th house, you're a Scorpio ascendant, your father will have the ability to win over people's hearts. The relationship with the father will be struggle early in life. There will be a lot of enemies and a lot of obstacles coming to the Cancerous person. Let's say in the 9th house, because Mars, invisible aspect, will be from the 6th house. And definitely a Cancer ascendant person has to fight. They're going to have to fight. They're going to have to conquer something by fighting. Leo. One of the biggest things you will see with Leo, no matter where the Leo zodiac sign is, what ascendant you are, they will have major gas issues. Gas problem. They will fart all day. Okay? They'll keep passing gas. Why? Because two gas giants influence the sign of Leo. Saturn from the 7th house, Jupiter from the 5th house. And a Leo individual becomes primary initiator of political view, political changes. And from the Aquarius sign, because Saturn is from the Aquarius sign looking at invisibly, doesn't have to physically look at it again. You could have Leo zodiac sign anywhere, nobody needs to aspect it, but it'll originally, because of this aspect, it'll be influence. Meaning they always worry about the mass of people, other people. For them, they feel responsible for huge group of crowds. And for them, for a Leo ascendant, I keep saying the word ascendant, but for the Leo zodiac sign, learning through children, learning through subordinates is one of the ways they succeed in life. So let's say if somebody, is a movie director with Leo ascendant. Somehow, somewhere, let's say they go to somebody's birthday party and they're hanging out with children, having fun. And some kid comes to them and say, I had this dream and this happened to me and that happened to me. And suddenly it'll trigger that director. Whoa, that could be a brilliant story. And they can take that idea that child just gave, write a whole script on it and make a movie. And of course, you will never find anybody who may admit this, because most of the time they'll be like, the ego gets in the way. It's my original idea. I just came up with it. So this is how things happen with Leo. For a Virgo ascendant person, see, Virgo gets mainly influenced by Mercury and Jupiter. Those are the only two planets that are influencing the sign of Virgo. And so Virgo becomes this purity of knowledge. Virgo wants to learn. Virgo wants to communicate after learning. Virgo wants to show the fine details of knowledge. They don't want to just give the broad strokes. They want to give the detail of that knowledge. And especially a Virgo person feels oblivion. Or a Virgo zodiac sign, when a planet is in there, that particular planet will feel oblivion to relationship and marriage. They'll be like, what is marriage? What is relationship? I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know how to handle it. Because Jupiter from Pisces looks at Virgo. They feel this sense of spiritual devotion to the other person more than wanting to engage into the wedlocks. So Virgo is very, very positive in certain terms. So Libra gets influenced by Saturn, Mars, and Venus. And so Libra, first of all, more than Aries, Libra ascendant deals with the major ups and downs of relationships, fights and combats in relationships. Libra wants to devote itself to others but their partner only devotes themselves to themselves. They always tend to find an individual that will be more focused on them than the other person. So let's say, for example, you have Libra in the 5th house of children. Your child, especially the firstborn, will be more about, it's about me. It's not about you as my mother or father. And due to Saturn looking at Libra, most definitely one has to deal with a lot of work related to the relationship that the Libra sign is representing in your chart. It could be in the 12th house, 10th house, 6th house, 5th house, 4th house, doesn't matter. When Libra is there, it is an absolute work and coldness towards dealing with that relationship. So Libra is not about balance. Libra represents scales. Scales is all about up and down. It's all about, unbalancing of energy. So Libra is the most unbalanced sign, actually. Where people may think Libra, oh, they're so balanced. Everything is so balanced. No, they're always trying to make things balanced, but they can never get it balanced. Then you look at Scorpio. Now in Libra, I think, that's it. Those are the only. So then in Scorpio, Saturn, Venus, Jupiter aspect the sign of Scorpio, including Mars. And this is why you see heavy energy of transformation coming in, obstacles, enemies. And the other thing we see, again, full concept of love and lust and affair plays out. We see a major impact of a major transformation occurs in a person's profession and a person's livelihood and their image into the world. Because remember, from Scorpio, Saturn's 10th aspect will be on the sign of Scorpio. Major transformation will come into a person's life due to a certain group of people or certain masses of people, because it's the Aquarius sign that Saturn is aspecting from. Then, so for example, let's say you've got Scorpio in the 9th house. That will bring that particular relationship with the father, gurus, counselors. And no planet has to aspect that sign necessarily in your chart. When you see that Scorpio in that house, you already know the impact of the planets that is occurring. Then you see Sagittarius. Again, Mercury, Jupiter. Same thing as Virgo ascendant occurs, but what happens here is that the sign of Gemini is now being impacted upon Sagittarius. Which means that Jupiter, they want to learn, they want to be the learned one. Okay? They want to give information, they want to, share information with other people. But what happens with Sagittarius is that the spouse of that Sagittarius individual will always be childlike. So for example, let's say 9th house is Sagittarius. Your father's spouse, your mother, will be quite childlike for your father to deal with. Father wants to study the philosophy of Plato and Aristotle on the weekend, while the spouse wants to take the father to shopping, to the movies. There's some musical concert they want to go to, and they're like, oh, why can't this person get the fact that there's something bigger and higher than these things? So not only you look at the aspect of the planet, but which sign is it invisibly impacting from? For Capricorn ascendant, you will see obviously Moon impacting the sign of Capricorn. If there's anything else, I don't think so, because it'll be Venus and Mercury, and then Mars one. Yeah, none of them will be impacting except Moon. So here, a Capricorn individual is being impacted by Saturn and Moon, meaning they feel lack of nourishment always. They feel this lack of emotional satisfaction from the other person. And Saturn builds them in a way where they have to run into situation related to dealing with their heartbreak, dealing with that lack of nourishment. So for example, if Capricorn is in your 5th house, your child is going to be very sensitive and very much looking for nourishment constantly, especially from their spouse, early on from the mother. If you say anything to a Capricorn child, let's say you have Capricorn in the 5th house and there's a planet there, or let's say no planet there, just Capricorn is there. You saying one little thing, it'll create this iceberg within the consciousness of the individual. You said, don't do that. And they will not just take it as, don't do that. They said, don't do that because I don't like you. Don't do that because you have done this and this. And they're making these things up and it affects them emotionally. And then also Capricorn person looks for an individual who they're pretty much looking for the mother to nourish them. They're looking for their spouse to be that motherly individual for them. No matter how angry they are, how bad they are, they want to be nourished by them. Then if you have Aquarius sign, I already said Sun and Mars impact the sign of Aquarius. 2 masculine sign from 2 fiery signs or 2 dominating signs impacting Aquarius. So Aquarius becomes extremely masculine, like Gemini. 2 masculine like Mars and Jupiter impacting the sign of Gemini. Here, Aquarius. So they are all about other people. They're all about wanting to fight for other people, do things for other people. But Aquarius always feel this major setback through their partner, the opposition, who will be more individual and more self-centered, more egotistical about their own gain first before anything else. And they always feel this karma that why is it that my spouse does not feel the pain that I feel for the whole world? And that becomes the antagonist for Aquarius zodiac sign. But like I said, they're the most ferocious fighters. It's like when they get angry, it's like bomb goes off. Because they and this is why they always feel against government. They always feel government is doing something wrong. Because invisibly, Sun is there directly opposite. And they always feel like the government is sending something to fight them and their belief system, because Mars aspects Aquarius zodiac sign as well. Then when it comes to Pisces, same thing. Mercury aspects from the 7th house, from the sign of Virgo. And Jupiter is impacting Pisces anyway. So Pisces and Virgo have a very similar energy, where Pisces individual is in oblivion, but they will always feel like that their opposite, their counterpart is too much into logic, too much into numbers, too much into not looking at life from an abstract view. They want to know what chemical is in this red color. How is this red color made? Instead of just appreciating the red color. And so this is why Pisces deal with this battle within themselves. So wherever the sign of Pisces is, that natural love for information, knowledge, higher learning comes into play. But at the same time, they're going to deal with this counteractive energy of that will never understand things from a creative perspective. So let's say, for example, Pisces is in your 4th house. You know, your mother is going to be an extremely creative person, but will be frustrated with the father due to his lack of understanding of the abstract beauty more than, you know, or will not care for that abstract beauty, but more for that logic and statistical analysis. But because it's Mercury and Jupiter, it becomes much more beneficial. It's much more doable and dealable. But again, Pisces is in the abstract side of things. So this is how the invisible impact happens on each zodiac sign. So next time when you see your own chart or someone else's chart, the moment you see a zodiac sign in somehow, some way, you should just imagine in your own head, make it the ascendant, which planet is impacting it. That's going to be the energy coming into that house. No matter what happens, that's how that sign will behave. Okay. So I know this is a pretty long video, but hopefully you got some basic information, because this basic information can actually it's giving you actually a hint that there's a big iceberg underneath in understanding a chart. And this is why I've always also done in my online academy too, when I talked about ascendants, how to just predict things from ascendant. Okay. So this was my analysis, guys. Again, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss these type of videos, and make sure to hit the bell button so you get notifications. Otherwise, if you need books, reports, consultations, check out the links here. Otherwise, I'm going to see you tomorrow with our Planets to Ascendant video. Bye-bye.